Welcome to the Ask the Expert Show with local celebrity hosts Steve-O and Renee. Sit back each week while Steve-O and Renee educate you with live in-studio experts, such as lawyers, doctors, home improvement, and financial experts in their field. Call in and have your questions answered each week at 888-565-1470. Now, here is Steve-O and Renee with today's expert in their field.
And we are here live today on Monday afternoon. Yes, I'm Steve-O without Renee. A lot of you might know this by now. We have a morning show, a 3-hour in the morning show, 7 to 10 a.m. called the Steve-O and Renee Show. And it is virtually impossible for both of us here to do the show every Monday. We're completely booked up. So this show will continue for a long time. I love today because one of my favorite shows, it's not a good subject. It's about tax relief, but we have got the expert. And let me tell you something, you don't ever want to try to do this yourself. You want an expert, and they're so hard to find because you don't know who to trust. And it was hard for us in the beginning, but we found the company, Taxation Solutions. They're a national company out of Houston, Texas, with an office here in South Florida. So we have on the line, please welcome my friend, Barry Fowler. Hi, Barry.
How are you today, Steve-O? How are you?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
Man, just enjoying life, helping clients, and settling debts with the IRS. What more could you ask for?
And Barry, teaching your kids lessons.
Yes, my son was learning a very valuable lesson this weekend.
Barry and I share a lot during the week, and it's kind of a little inside joke. But, hey, bro, I'm so glad to have you on today because there are so many people out there that get that little notice in the mail saying you're being audited. Is that how it works?
Yeah, there's nice little letters that the IRS sends out, and some of them are very casual. You may have left this one little item off your tax return, and you need to put it on. Others, hey, we need full documentation of everything you put on your tax return, and that's not the one you want to see.
No, and believe it or not, there's a lot of people this happens to.
Oh, it happens every day. We see it. We hear the phone calls. It's just incredible that the IRS can spend that much time doing audits. But what's even worse is that they're understaffed, so they try to rush the audits, and they try to get people to admit that they've done these things wrong so they can collect more money.
Do they still do the cattle prod, Barry?
I haven't seen the cattle prod lately, but I think they're up to worse items than the cattle prod these days.
Hey, before we go any further, first of all, Barry, tell everybody about yourself and your company.
Well, Steve, as we've talked before, I started this company because I have a passion for doing taxes. But that passion expanded into fighting the IRS for the everyday American taxpayer to help them get the relief that they need. I employ tax experts. And when I mean by tax experts, enrolled agents that are licensed by the U.S. Department of Treasury to represent the taxpayers, CPAs, and tax attorneys. And those people work their tails off for every one of our clients and get them the best settlement that they deserve and they can qualify for. I do that with 38 offices around the country. Yes, 38 offices around the country, and we manage these from our corporate office here in Houston. But I have great people that work for me and can take care of anybody's tax debt, no matter where they are in the country, or if they're a U.S. citizen and dealing with the IRS and they're anywhere in the world, we can help them too. It's amazing the things that we can do.
Well, one of the amazing things we can do is we can direct people to your website at taxationsolutions.net, and they can actually watch the show live, or they can go to your website later on. You've got such great information on there.
Yeah, we put the information out there because we want everybody to know, what we do and sort of how we do it. We can't give everybody all our expertise because we've been doing this so long that we know the ins and outs and how to save people money. What we don't know and what we don't understand is why people procrastinate so much and won't pick up the phone and call even our local office right there at the 786-600-4351. But pick up the phone and call us and let's get in front of the problem. We don't know why people want to put this off until the IRS levies their bank account or maybe garnishes their wages, puts that lien on their house, takes everything they have to live on. You wait that long, and now you've put us between a rock and a hard place. We do have fees, and we do want to help everybody, but we got to be in front of the problem. So why do people wait? That's the question.
You're absolutely right. It's like, why are you missing all the sleep at night being worried? And it is something to worry about. Because, Barry, when you take over, you literally take over. They don't even have to deal with the IRS.
That's exactly right. I mean, that's the purpose of hiring us, is we are the go-between between you and the IRS. You never have to talk to them. And I tell people this all the time is, hey, when you hire us, that's final. You don't have to deal with the IRS. You don't have to talk to the IRS. We don't want you to. You break our contract if you're talking to them and giving them information. But the reason we do that is because what you say to the IRS agent is gospel, meaning that IRS agent is going to take that and whatever you said, and they're going to run with it.
And you can't take it back either.
They may have misspoke. And then we've got to fight against what you just told them. And so, we give you our business cards. We give you the phone numbers. If an IRS agent calls you, you give them our phone number and tell them to call us. And we handle everything from there. Hang up the phone. Don't go any further.
Because more than likely, you're probably going to say something you shouldn't be saying.
That's what we try to prevent, because we don't want misinformation out there. We don't want you answering questions that you don't need to answer. And that seemingly innocent question is the question that hangs everybody up. Now, where do you bank?
Yeah.
Well, that was an innocent enough question. I'm your friend. Don't worry about it.
Right.
And the next Friday when you get paid, they just levied your bank account. Congratulations. You didn't even have them have to go find it on their own. You gave them the roadmap to your assets on payday.
Wow. I got to say something, Barry. When we first started together, well over a year, and Barry, actually, we have this show in other cities. We actually do the show with Barry. One of the things we found out when we first started, there's a lot of companies that aren't very legit. Now, Barry probably would never tell you that, but I know because I did my due diligence. And there were so many horror stories out there, Barry, that companies took their money and then they never heard from them again. And I actually spoke to, and when we did our due diligence on Taxation Solutions, you guys are so clean. Now, you can't please 100% of the people out there, but, bro, you're pretty close. But I spoke to an attorney, and I said, we've got to, he wanted to be on Ask the Experts, and I told him, I said, we've got the finance. He said, I'll bet you he's not legit. And I said, what do you mean by he's not legit? He said, I belong to this organization, this one. And, he went, I guess he wanted to be on the show so bad, he went and he did due diligence on your company. And he came back, he said, they're clean. They are in the same organizations that I belong to. And, I wasn't surprised.
Well, we jump through hurdles for our clients. We try to find the best possible out to save our clients money, and we don't stop. We deal on a flat fee, so, everybody that calls here, is going to get their fee up front, and we tell them what we charge, and there's no hidden charges on it. Everything's laid out for them, and we do that simply because we don't want to work by the hour. I don't want to be constrained because you tell me you can only afford, 15 hours of my time to solve this, because I may spend 15 or 20 hours in that very first month, or I may spend, 50 hours doing, solving your problem with the IRS, and I don't want to have to come back to you for more money. I want to solve your problem for you once and for all. I want to take care of this with the IRS without time constraints on us. Because, we have the expertise to do this, and we have the expertise to get it done, and everything takes time. Not everybody's problem is going to be solved in the first 30 days or the first 60 or even in the first 6 months. We've had problems that we've had to deal with the IRS where people have hired us, and it takes us a year to 2 years to get final settlement that's the lowest possible allowed by law and get it done for them. And it's not always us. We're not the ones going to take that year or two to get to that stage. It's the IRS and their endless pursuit of our clients' money.
Barry, I'm going to say something because this is, again, doing the due diligence. If someone hires your firm, they can be assured if it's 6 months or 8 months or a year, you're still going to be there for them, however long it takes to get this taken care of. And I think that is really special from all the due diligence I've seen with other companies.
What's amazing, and, we'd like to push every case through as fast as possible. We want to get our clients settled with the IRS and get it done. But we've had some cases here. I have a case that we've been working on since 2012, and we've had to go back and forth with the IRS, appeal after appeal to get this done. I didn't probably charge them anywhere near enough money to cover all the hours and all the time we've had to go back and forth with the IRS to cover my expenses. But I do it because that was my commitment to the client when we signed them up. And I said, hey, look, we're going to be here. We're going to solve this problem for you. We're going to get this offer through. And that's what we did. We finally got that offer through, and we got it at the dollar amount we wanted, but it just takes time. Not everything is fast. Granted, I have some clients that we've been able to sign up and get things done in 30 days and solved, but it's because of what they can qualify for. And we're very selective, and we tell people right up front, this is what we feel you can qualify for and where we can get. We go through a complete financial analysis in that first consultation, and that consultation is absolutely free.
We're going to go to break now, but Barry, you might have to think back a little bit. You told me about someone you represent. You only told me this a couple months ago that, God, they owed so much money to the IRS, and the deal that you got them that anybody would have been happy with, and they still wanted more. You know what deal I'm talking about?
I know exactly. I'll tell
Let's
you
talk
right
about that when we come back from break.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more? Is the IRS levying your bank account or garnishing your wage? Taxation Solutions protects the future of today's taxpayer and can get you a fresh start. Their staff of professionals have a genuine concern for the IRS issues their clients face. Taxation Solutions have programs to stop the IRS and help you solve your IRS debt, IRS audit, innocent spouse, IRS seizures, offers, and compromise. Taxation Solutions are the leading experts in the industry. They look at each case objectively and honestly to help their clients identify the best solution. Call today for peace of mind and a free consultation at 786-600-4351. Don't stick your head in the sand anymore. Call now, 786-600-4351, or go on their website, taxationsolutions.net. Call 786-600-4351.
And we're back. We have on the phone the owner and founder of Taxation Solutions. You can actually watch today's show, or you can actually even go back and watch today's show on Barry's website at www.taxationsolutions.net. Make sure you put that .net in there, or it will not come up. Barry, we were just talking about, you told me a story about, and I don't remember the amounts. I just knew it was just mind-boggling what you did for this person, and they still wanted more. Can you share that with us?
Well, this client, as we were talking about, owed the IRS right at about $1.5 million. Yeah, $1.5 million. And, when he calls us, he can't afford to pay it. We basically went through the full financial analysis with him. And what we felt like he could afford to pay was $7,500. So yeah, that's what we proposed as our side.
A month, right?
No. $7,500, and that was it. One-time payment, done. What the IRS came back after about a year and a half of negotiating with them was right at about, I think, $22,500. Called the client up. We told the client, hey, we've settled your debt from $1.5 million, and we got you down to $22.5 million. And he wasn't happy.
God.
I
Some
was
people
shocked.
you just
I
can't
thought, man,
please.
this is going to be the easiest phone call I could ever make to a client. Yep, we got you settled. We're done. Nope. You need to go back and fight the IRS more. Okay. We're going to settle this, I think, right at about $17.5. We're still in the middle of negotiations with the IRS. But, making the client happy because we're going back and pushing the IRS to even reduce it as far down, another $5,000 for this gentleman. More than happy to do it. We will fight the battle tooth and nail to get it as low as possible. Wish we could have hit the 7,500 because that would have been even more impressive. But
Barry,
hey,
if you'd have gotten 22.5, you didn't just win the battle; you won the whole war with that.
But not for our client. He wasn't happy, so I got to go battle more, don't I?
Wow.
That's what we try to do, and that's what we're here for. Again, we come back to that first question that, we talked about here at the beginning of the show is why people procrastinate and won't call, or put it off until it's almost too late. And the IRS has taken so much action against you. Let's get in front of the problem. Let's not wait and delay. You can check me out. Check out my website at taxationsolutions.net. We have an A+ rating at the Better Business Bureau. We take care of our clients to the utmost. We will do what we need to do to get the problem solved. When people call in, we ask for patience because this isn't a quick, easy, overnight deal where we can just automatically solve their problem. There are people we get liens and levies released within maybe the first 30 to 45 days. There are people that we're able to go to battle and solve small problems so that we can win the war over the long haul, because that's what it is. And you got to have the patience. Let us take the stress. Let us lose the sleep every night for you so that you can enjoy your life with your wife or with your husband. And we don't pass any judgment of why you're in this problem. We don't care. We just want to get you out of the problem and fix it.
By the way, this is nothing to be embarrassed about. Hundreds and thousands of people go through this every day. And, we make mistakes sometimes. And when there's a company out there like Taxation Solutions that even their own competition can't badmouth them, this is something special. But I want to get across to people, Barry, that do not, to save money, try to do this yourself.
No, and let me explain why. We get back to how you deal with the IRS. And what's really interesting is we listen to people, and this is coming from our clients that tried to do this on their own to begin with and then call us later. And they go, but the IRS agent's being my friend. He's being real nice to me. He says he can work this out for me, and we're going to make all this work. Well, that's fine and dandy, because what he's just doing with you is making this very simple on himself. He's asking you all the same questions we do, but his intention is to lay out a complete roadmap to every asset you have. Okay, you got a boat, you got cars, you got a house, here's your bank accounts. Oh, what bank do you bank at? Oh, you have bank accounts at 3 different banks. Okay, we got all that information. And now all of a sudden, he's asking, instead of a $500 a month payment that you can afford, he wants $1,000 or $2,000 a month to pay your debt. because that's what it's going to take to get your debt paid off over the next 7, 10 years. Now, would you like that payment of $1,000 plus a month with the IRS, and you say, I've got to think about it and debate about it? Next thing you know is, because he's already issued the notice of intent to levy, he levies your bank accounts. Takes everything you had in your bank account on payday. So not only do you not have the $1,000 you had sitting in the bank, if you had $1,000 sitting in the bank, but he just took your money that came in on payday as well, and you've got your mortgage due, your car payments due, your boat payment due. Whatever else you have to pay is due, and you have no money in the account to pay it. Now, that's not an easy way to live.
Hey,
That
Barry,
does not make your life any easier.
once they levy your bank account and someone hires you, can you go back in and get any of that money back? Or is it just gone?
There are cases we can do that. We have stopped bank levies and gotten money back. A lot of it depends on how much you've made the revenue officer we're dealing with mad. And sometimes when you're dealing with them by yourself, you've made them very mad.
Yes.
We've got to deal with them. Sometimes it's how long you've put them off, or maybe you've lied to them. Maybe lie is a strong word. You agreed to something because it was simple to agree to, but you knew all along you really couldn't do it. But it was a way to get the revenue officer off your back. Hey, you didn't meet their deadlines, whatever the case is. It makes it tough, and that's why we want to be in front of the case before they get to that point, so that we can help save you and keep the money in your account. So again,
and you don't just do individuals, do you, Barry? You also work with companies.
Yes, we work with businesses. We work with individuals. We've worked with estates and trusts. We help different entities across the board, small businessmen, large businessmen. It doesn't matter what it is. What happens in business more times than not, it doesn't have anything to do with federal income tax. It all simply has to do with payroll taxes. And if you ever want to see a revenue officer going after a business for money, watch them go after the business for those payroll taxes, because they stop at nothing. And they will levy those bank accounts before you do payroll, before you go to pay your employees, and now we're fighting to get that money back just so you can afford to pay your employees and stay in business. You don't want to mess with those, and you can't deal with it yourself.
It is so important that you have a company like Taxation Solutions representing you, because again, if you're trying to save a little money, this is the same thing as having a lawyer. You don't want to say something you shouldn't be saying. When you have Barry's company representing you, they do all the talking for you. You no longer have to talk to an IRS agent. Is that correct?
That's correct. Like I said, you give them my clients have my business card. And as soon as that revenue officer calls, you just give them our phone number and tell them to call your tax attorney, your enrolled agent, and speak with them and hang up the phone. And you're done. You can call us and let us know that they called, and we'll make sure we make a phone call to that revenue officer if they haven't called us. But you're done. You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to sweat over it. You don't have to lose sleep over it. We'll take care of them for you. And we'll deal with the issue. And that's what you hire us for, is to deal with the revenue officers, deal with the IRS, and keep them off your back.
I want to give
we deal with anybody. If you got a friend, you got a family member, I'll even take on your worst enemy and solve their problem for them. Maybe they'll become your best friend somewhere down the road.
I've never heard you use that one, Barry. That's really true, though, because people just don't understand the amount of pressure. And I've learned this just, with you and I, that they don't understand the pressure, the IRS, and they are schooled at this, of putting on you and scaring you and getting you to say things you probably should have never said.
Oh, exactly. And Steve, I made a comment here that I take anybody I will help anybody that qualifies for the program and truly wants and needs our help. And what I mean by that is we qualify them. We'll sit down and talk to them, go through the whole program and say, you have this available, this available. This is what you probably can do on your own and set up a small payment plan because that's the best you're going to get. And you don't need us to go through and do it for you. And we'll tell you that, hey, you can do it this way. Others, we're going to sit down and tell you, hey, what you're going to qualify for and what programs we're going to put you through. And you really need us to deal this for you because you're not going to be able to do this yourself.
Give everybody your phone number, Barry.
My number is 786-600-4351. Now, we are nationwide, so I got 38 locations across the country. So if you got friends or family anywhere else, it's 888-931-1079. And check us out on the web at taxationsolutions.net. Time flies when we do this.
I know, it's amazing. Because, listen, this is something that, God, if we can just touch one person, help one person each show, man, that's what it's about.
That's exactly it. And we want to help. We've got 5 offices in Florida alone. So, we've got Florida covered.
Absolutely. Send us your
friends and family. Let us help them out.
Bro, thank you so much for coming on today. I can't wait for next month, and we'll talk more about Taxation Solutions. www.taxationsolutions.net. Let them handle this. Barry, thanks a lot. Have a great week, bro.
Thanks, Steve. You too.
And we will be right back with our foreclosure show with Gil Belu.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more? Is the